Hi everyone, I hope you're having a really good day so far. I just filmed a sort of update video where I asked you guys some questions to just get feedback for what you think about how my channel is doing so far. So I will go ahead and link that video below if you haven't watched. I'd really appreciate it if you could answer some of the questions that I asked. Now I'm going to be reviewing Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I think I said in my book haul that this is one of my favorite books I have read within the past year. If I had to describe a book that was just meant for me, that had a lot of my favorite aspects that can go into a book, it would be kind of a darker crime novel. Some crime has been committed or it's about to be committed, and you really go into the mind of either the victim or the antagonist. And with that, I really enjoy it if there is some kind of dark humor in the book. All of those aspects are in Dark Places, which is probably why I enjoyed it so much. Now to get into the plot of the book, Libby Day is 7 years old when her mother and two sisters are brutally murdered. Her eldest sibling, Ben, is convicted of the crime and sent to jail, and then fast forward to when Libby is in her mid-20s, I forget her exact age. She's contacted by the society called the Kill Club, which is just made up of the strangest assortment of individuals and all interested in notorious crimes, and in particular this small group is very interested in the Day murders. Most of them believe that Ben has been wrongly convicted, and because Libby is down on money, she agrees to go on these kind of quests for the group and try and find clues about what really happened that night because they're going to pay her. I don't know if I said that. The story is told from her point of view, but also it's told from the point of view of her mother, Patty, and her brother, Ben, during the 24 hours leading up to the murder. So now to talk about the characters, Libby is definitely not your typical hero or protagonist. A lot of aspects about her are not necessarily likable. You know, she steals, she lies, she's never been able to hold a job. She's just a generally negative person, and she's not very nice to other people. At the same time, though, there is this good sense of humor about her character, and after what she's been through, I mean, I guess you couldn't really expect her to be a regular functioning member of society. I really enjoyed reading the points of view of Patty and Ben. Now, I can't really say if I really liked their characters or not, and if I was rooting for them, just because in the end, this is a mystery book, and I don't want to say if I really liked a character or didn't like them, because that might give away to you guys if they are involved in the murders of the two children and the mom or not. One of the best aspects of this book, I think, was the pacing. I was never reading Patty, Ben's, or Libby's character and wishing I was reading someone else's section. None of the sections drag on too long, and I absolutely love the juxtaposition of Libby in the present, finding clues about what actually happened that night, finding and meeting characters that are discussed during Patty's and Ben's time, you know, in the past, and you're seeing how these characters were at that time and how they've developed through the years and whether they're in a horrible state now or if they're better off. Generally, everybody's a lot worse off. This is not the most pleasant world in this book, but it's still really interesting. The pacing just really helped build up the tension in the book. I hate the phrase page turner, but this definitely was, especially towards the second half of the book. As Libby is getting closer and closer to figuring out exactly what happened to that night and she's discovering the clues, you're also slowly finding out from Patty's and Ben's point of view what's happening that night, and when you actually find out, it is one of the most tragic, horrific events I've ever seen take place in a book. It just really, I felt wounded reading the scene. It was just that sad. Completely would recommend this book. If you've read it, let me know what you think about it, but obviously don't post any spoilers in the comments section. If you want to discuss it, definitely message me. If there's any other types of books like this that you would recommend, make sure to recommend them to me. I know she's also written Sharp Objects, which is another fairly popular book. I think she wrote that before this, and I definitely want to go ahead and read that. I also think this is one of those rare books where if you really enjoy the first few sentences of the book, because it really kind of encapsulates the tone of the book, if you like that, then you will probably enjoy the rest of the book. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first few sentences to you guys. It starts off as it says, from Libby's point of view during the present. The meanness inside me, real as an organ, slit me at my belly and it might slide out, meaty and dark, drop on the floor so you could stomp on it. It's the day blood. Something's wrong with it. I was never a good little girl, and it got worse after the murders. That definitely sets the whole tone for the book, and if you like that, I think you will enjoy the rest of the book. As I said, the characters are really interesting, the pacing is great, but I think from the first few sentences of the book, you can also tell the writing in this book really is fantastic. I'm really capable of enjoying a book if the writing is decent. I can still really like the characters and have a lot of fun with it and just really flip through it, but this is a book where in particular the writing also I think just really stood out to me. So I hope you guys like this book. Please go ahead and read it if you haven't, and if you're interested in these kind of books. One thing I should say is that this is an adult novel. There are adult themes in this book in every sense of the word. If you're 12, I wouldn't necessarily recommend reading it, but then when I was 12, I was creeping throughout the whole library and probably reading things that I shouldn't have. Definitely go ahead and read this book and let me know if you have any other recommendations for me, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.